what you were suggesting, has anything changed in the crypto market? Not a thing. Is the technology being utilized? Has Solana just agreed to use their blockchain with Meta for NFTs? Yes. Are Google working with Solana? Yes. Is Ethereum being built out? Did DeFi fail? No. Does the decentralized financial system idea work? Yes. Are cryptocurrencies being exchanged in a value system on the internet? Yes. Is the number of people growing in that ecosystem? Not a lot, because it's stabilized. But if you look at the past cycle, so the 2017 peak to the low in 2019, we lost about 80% of the active wallet addresses.
Wow.
When I look at it now, we've lost about 30, because the adoption keeps rising. So it really is a psychological game. And it's a long-term game, because, and you've talked about this, is we're not involved because we can make money over a 1 year time or a 2 year time. We're saying, listen, the bet here is if you hold on and if you add at the bottom of the panic cycle and just keep holding and don't use leverage and just be sensible about what you're doing and don't keep checking the market every day, the probability of you coming in at the end of the decade and having manifested your future self in a way that probably might be quite unexpected. And if you do that, you won't go through that emotional journey.
Yeah, this is...
What will happen if XRP today was to hit 2 digits or even 3? I bet that most of us would be smiling our way to retirement. But not everyone believes in this crypto and probably don't see what's right in front of their faces. The reason being, they've been sold this narrative that this crypto is unregulated and should be taken out of the exchanges, which is exactly what happened 2 years ago. Only now are we realizing the brains behind the lawsuit was corrupt and probably in the pocket of some rich whales who want to either invest in XRP or create an alternative. All in all, the elites are filling their wallet with this cryptocurrency, waiting for it to go to the moon. But before we get into all that, let's roll that intro. As always, welcome to Moneyside, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you get updates when we drop new videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, and you can always leave a question or a comment in the section below. Did you guys notice that there's a prominent X behind the U.S. Treasury note? What do you think that X means? My guess, and I know this might be a little far-fetched, but I think it shows XRP. Yeah, that's right, guys. XRP is undoubtedly the crypto of the year, and that's because it's meant to change the world.
The bank HSBC is to close 114 branches across the UK from next April as part of modernisation plans. It says there's been a decline in the number of customers going into its premises, while the use of its digital app has almost tripled. Our business.
You've just heard on the BBC, 6 p.m. on the 30th of November 2022. HSBC has just announced branches from April next year will be closing. There's going to be nearly 200 branches that are closing. So I've been predicting this. I've uploaded many uploads with regards to this. CBDC is coming. If you haven't prepared or you think it was a joke, well, here's your...
Imagine that, guys. Branches will be closing in favor of CBDCs. This was declared in the BBC News, guys, and that's life-changing news. The only crypto company that's dominant in the world and also encourages CBDCs is Ripple. So far, this company is in the advisory committee of different central banks, which are currently beta testing CBDCs. Now, that's just a cover-up for the fact that these central banks are working to launch their own CBDCs on RippleNet. But since the U.S. decided to go for the one company which could potentially put the U.S. dollar on the map, now Ripple is working with companies outside of the U.S. As a matter of fact, Brad Garlinghouse also confessed that a majority of their users are outside the U.S. However, since Ripple was first founded in the United States, Garlinghouse is trying to ensure that they are on good terms with the government. Now, I believe if the SEC doesn't settle with Ripple, this company will shift its headquarters to other countries, and that will ensure that they don't have to necessarily deal directly with the SEC. The Asian and European markets already have the right idea to embrace Ripple and try working towards the future. CBDCs are here to stay, whether we like it or not, and it's meant to be the bridge between these two worlds. There's no other blockchain network that's perfect for the launch of CBDCs other than Ripple. Hold on to your XRPs, because this crypto is about to hit new highs or switch up to retail. Either way, you could be the next millionaire in your family.
Bitcoin, and this was based, you were asked, Charlie said Bitcoin's like rat poison. You were asked about that comment and you said, well, it's probably more like rat poison squared. Charlie went on in the meeting to then basically call Bitcoin turds.
He is an expressive sort of thing. Maybe when he gets a little older, he'll mature.
I just want to ask you about that because it sparked so much controversy, and particularly on Twitter and some of the places where you might expect people who are trading in cryptocurrency to be pretty loud about what they heard. What is it about Bitcoin that gets you guys so fired up?
Well, when you buy a farm, you look at the crop every year and what prices are, and you decide whether it was a satisfactory investment. I mean, you look to the asset itself and what it produces for you. When we buy a business, we look at what the business earns and decide how we feel about it in terms of what we paid. But we are buying something that at the end of the period, we not only have what we bought in the first place, but we have something that the asset produced. And when you buy non-productive assets, all you're counting on is whether the next person is going to pay you more because they're even more excited about another next person coming along. But the asset itself is creating nothing. One of the interesting things, for example, is gold. If you go back to the time of Christ and you look at how many hours of labor you had to give up in order to buy an ounce of gold, and you take it forward to now, you'll find the compound rate maybe 1/10 or 2/10 of 1%. And then you have to insure it during that time and make sure somebody doesn't steal it from you and everything. But it doesn't produce anything. And productive assets, you can pay too much for a productive asset. But I bought a farm in the 1980s, and every year look at how much it produced the way of soybeans and corn. And at the end of that period, I've still got the farm, and I've gotten some significant income off of it. Apartment house, operating business. But if you and I buy various cryptocurrencies, they're not going to multiply. They're not going to be a bunch of rabbits sitting there in front of us. They're just going to sit there.
And there was another frivolous lawsuit of Ripple Labs by the U.S. government. It's, David, just to slow them down. When
just kicking the can down the road. They're just slowing the pace.
Because the banksters are not ready. And
I'm
going to make a bold comment, and it's just in my own vernacular. The banksters are good at fraud and murder. They're not good at software engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, there are lots of precedents, like Neil Keenan was murdered and replaced. He was all about the old bonds, the gold-backed bonds. They murder people left and right. They actually murdered somebody, a source of mine, they murdered a close friend of his in Europe. And it really shook up my friend. The banksters sued XRP and Ripple Labs in order to buy time, not so much to hold them back as to, well, it's two motives. One, to hold back the development of the Ripple Labs, but it didn't work because they're still working. And the other motive is to buy time in order for the banksters to develop something in a similar manner with the intellectual property so that they can match Ripple and say, we've got our own Ripple, we don't need your Ripple, but they failed. And now they're saying, we need your Ripple. We're going to make a deal with you. We're going to have a timetable. We're going to have a schedule. It's going to be 18 to 24 months. We've got a span of time, and it is our accord. It's proof that the banksters failed in developing a similar system to XRP, and the same thing happened with Reggie Middleton. They failed in developing the building blocks for the digital financial structures that include banks and bond markets and stock market. It's the whole works.
So, in the sense, their fate is sealed.
Their fate is sealed, and they bought in to the digital system.
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. You can let us know always what you think in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you so much for watching. Couldn't be here without you. Don't forget to like this video and please click on that subscribe button below. And be sure to turn on notifications. That way you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again. We will see you on the next Money Side.